my name's Helen. I'm the Student Housing Services Manager and I work as part of the housing team. So we run the day-to-day management of the halls. We will greet you in September, we will get you ready for accommodation, and we'll help you with the day-to-day running in the halls as well. So today I'm just going to talk to you a bit about accommodation, what we've got, how you apply for it, and also preparation for moving in September, making sure you've got everything ready. So what's on offer at Winchester? We have got 3 self-catered blocks of accommodation: West Downs, Burma Road and Queen's Road. I'm actually in a Burma Road block at the moment, so this is one of the kitchens that you might be getting familiar with when you arrive here. Burma Road and Queen's Road are our ensuite blocks, so you'd have your own private bathroom, and West Downs is a mixture of ensuite and shared bathroom facilities. Don't worry, if you're in shared bathroom, you won't be sharing a toilet at the same time as somebody else. We've got 2 toilets and 2 showers in those flats. Most of our flats are up to 8 students in size, and we have some smaller ones in Queen's Road as well. We've also got a small catered block, that's Beach Glade. So that's where you would have up to 10 meals a week in our catering facilities. And then there are small kitchenettes as well, where you can make some snacks as well with your friends in your halls of residence. So we also have accessible accommodation available. So these are flats where we have auto doors, hoist capability, that sort of thing for students who need a bit more assistance with their accommodation. And there are other arrangements that we can put in place and other adjustments, such as medical fridges, ground floor accommodation, deaf alerters, sharps bins, medical fridges, that sort of thing. So some of the key features, as you can see in this kitchen, we've got fridge freezers, ovens, everyone has their own cupboard as well, and you can bring in your own items too. We also provide the ironing board and iron, hoover, so you can do your own cleaning, dustpan and brush, that sort of thing. Within the bedrooms, you'll get a bed, wardrobe, storage. If you're in a shared bathroom facility flat, you'll also get a sink as well, so you can still brush your teeth at 2 o'clock in the morning and not have to bother anyone. The rent that you pay includes all your utilities, so electric, gas, water, Wi-Fi, really strong Wi-Fi connection for everyone that lives in halls. That's really, really useful if you want to do your coursework in your room rather than going somewhere else. We also have secure access to your room via either a card or a key. And the best thing is we have 24/7 security. So if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're coming back to your accommodation and you've lost your key, you can call security and they'll be more than willing to help get you back into the room. We also have a really easy online maintenance reporting system for students as well. So if you notice that your oven's not working, you would simply place a report on the online system and the really friendly maintenance team will come down and sort that out for you as soon as possible. We have cleaners, so we've got a really friendly bunch here who will come along twice a week and come and clean the communal spaces. It is still students' responsibility to do your washing up, to hoover your bedrooms, clean your en-suites, that sort of thing, but the cleaners will come in and make sure that, you know, communal spaces are lovely and clean. Especially in those areas like hallways and things like that. There are also 3 laundrettes on campus. So there is one here at Burma Road, there's one at West Downs, and there's one at the bottom of the St Alphege building. So it's really easy. You have an app, so you can find out where there's an available washing machine or dryer, and then you can just tap and go. So it's really easy. You don't need to get a separate card for anything. So if you haven't done so already, you can apply for accommodation on the website as long as Winchester is your first choice. Doesn't matter if it's conditional or unconditional offer, still make that application. If you are an insurance choice student, you won't be able to make that application just yet, but once that status changes, please give us a call, make an application, and we'll be able to talk you through that process. So you will need to create an account and you'll need to use a personal email address. So don't use a school or college one because those usually expire at some point. During the process, you'll be asked to order your preferences for the room type. So for example, if you would like Burma Road ensuite to be your first choice, you put that and then the following choices after that. We also find it really, really important for you to provide as much information as possible to us about anything that you might need in your accommodation. So if there is a disability or medical need, we need to know just so we can provide you with the right type of room or the right type of equipment to go within that room. We have a guarantee deadline of the 16th of June, but don't worry, if you can't apply until after that, we will still be able to find you a room and you can still make an application. So we allocate rooms on a first applied, first allocated basis. So the earlier you can do your application, the better. Students with any additional requirements, care leavers, estranged students, we do prioritise. So we make sure we get those students into the right rooms for their needs. Over July, August, September, that's when we start sending room offers out, and we do that by emails. It's really important that you keep an eye on your emails. We usually send out a little kind of prompt, maybe a week or two before, to say we're going to start sending them out, keep an eye on those emails. And there's usually a deadline to confirm your room offer, so about 48 hours, so it's a good idea to be absolutely ready. You'll also have sort of terms and conditions that you'll need to read through, but you will have access to those afterwards as well. But make sure you kind of understand what you're signing before you say yes. So again, you'll then be able to accept those on the same housing portal that you've made your application, so it should be familiar to you at that point. The offer that we send you will include the total cost for the room, where you're going to be, and also the length of your licence, which can vary depending on which course you're in. At that point, we can't actually make any changes to the room allocations. However, I'd really encourage you to call the team if you have any queries or concerns. So I'm pleased to say the whole of my team have been students at the University of Winchester. We've all lived in halls of residence, so have some really useful and practical insights into living in the accommodation. We do also have a room transfer process. So this opens up at the beginning of term, and this is where students can say, actually, I've tried this, I'd like to try a different type of accommodation, and we can always offer a room move to somewhere else as well. So some of the T's and C's, when you get your contracts, you'll be asked to read the student resident regulations. So this is the kind of legal part. This says what students need to do, what their responsibilities are, and also what the university's responsibilities are. So it's really important that you read through those. It's just really important to familiarise yourself, because it will also help you to plan what you need to bring. So for example, we might say, please don't bring blue tack to put things on your walls, but you can bring this, and it will just help you. It also talks about what happens if you need to withdraw from your contract. So if you withdraw from the university, we can release you from your contract. However, if you just want to withdraw from the accommodation, it's a bit more difficult, and it becomes, you would remain liable for your contract at that point. You also will need to register a payment card. So the payments themselves are either in one go at the beginning of the year or in 3 equal instalments. And you will need to set up a payment card before you arrive to make sure that those payments are made. You'll get all the dates. They'll be on wall planners in your room as well. So don't worry, you'll be able to remember when they are, and you get prompt emails as well, but you just need to make sure that you've got the funds ready to make those payments. And there are people to talk to as well if you have any concerns over those payments. So a bit of important communication info. We know there are lots of parents and supporters who really want to help, who want to ask questions. Perhaps, as a student, you don't feel comfortable asking something. We can only discuss room offers and applications with the student themselves. A student can give consent, so it'd have to be written consent by email, but we do encourage students to speak to us as much as possible, because that's, you'll be speaking to us when you're here as well. We're not scary. As I say, we've all been through it, and the support teams at the university here are really friendly and open to conversations. We will send out really important information by email over the summer, so make sure you're still checking. You'll get things like your housing induction, what to pack, what not to pack, and things like that. We would also suggest that when you receive your arrivals information, you share that with whoever's coming with you on the day, because there might be important information in there which maybe doesn't matter to you as much, but things like parking that perhaps if your parents are bringing you or your supporters, they will need to know what they can and can't do. So we've got some information about the UCAS embargo dates as well. So this is a period of time where the university is really limited about how they can communicate with applicants to ensure that it doesn't sort of infer what your exam results are going to be. So during this time, we are really careful. We don't send out room offers. We will give generic information about arrivals and things like that. But we will send out an email beforehand just to remind all applicants so you don't think we're just being really rude and ignoring your question. And that will just confirm those dates as well. So we've got some guidance again that we'll send out about what to pack. But one of the things I would say is that you maybe have a chat with some people who are already at university or who have been at university to get an idea of what they actually found useful. So we can say, obviously bring bedding, bring your kitchen items, clothes hangers, toilet roll, towels, that kind of thing. But there may be other things that people have found really useful that we wouldn't even think about. We would always suggest that if you're thinking about bringing things like air fryers or sandwich makers, that you wait till you get here, because otherwise you will see a row of 7 or 8 air fryers using up all of the kitchen space. But you could buy one together as a group and take communal responsibility for cleaning and things like that. So perhaps wait for those ones. Please don't bring things like candles, flammable items, obviously anything illegal. Door stops and door hangers, which I know sounds a bit strange, but all of our doors are fire doors and we need to make sure that they remain that way and are secure and closed, unless obviously in use. Fridges or other electrical kitchen items in bedrooms. Obviously, we can provide fridges for students who might need to store medication or for allergy storage, but we need to make sure that no one else brings anything in there. It's okay if you want to store a kettle in your room, but it can't be used in the room. Pets as well, obviously, powerful sound systems, personal heaters, things like that. But again, we'll send you out a nice big list before you arrive so you know what not to pack. So some information about arrivals. So you'll be joining us in September. We can't wait for September. It's always a wonderful time to get everybody back on campus. We have Arrivals A on the 4th of September. So this is for students whose course then commences on Monday the 7th of September. Thursday the 17th of September is the Winchester Wayfinder event. So there will be some students who will be invited to attend that. So it's not open to everyone, but they will move in that little bit earlier. Saturday 19th and Sunday the 20th of September, that's Arrivals B. So that's when the majority of students will be moving onto campus. And that's for students whose then welcome week will start on Monday the 21st of September. During the process where you accept your room, you're going to select an arrival slot. So it's an hour, which kind of gives you about 15 minutes to collect your key and then 45 minutes to unload, which I know sounds really tight, but I promise you there's so much help around. Lots of people, we have student helpers, we have lots of staff working that weekend to get everybody in and settled into their rooms. We also ask that people only bring 1 car per student. So we have enough spaces for everybody to arrive, but only for 1 car. So if we start to see lots of cars arriving, it could get a bit tricky. And also smaller vehicles, so we can't accept transit vans or big camper vans and things like that. So a little bit about what you'll expect when you get to the university and accommodation support. So my team, housing team, we're in Monday to Thursday, 9 till 5. General day-to-day management of the accommodation. You can come and speak to our team, email, call, arrange a meeting, anything like that. We've got our resident assistants. Now, these are our student members of staff who work in the evenings, and they offer really, really vital peer-to-peer support. So particularly the start of the academic year when people aren't sure whether to go, what to do, need a bit of help settling in, the RAs are there and they will provide a really great service to help everybody feel at home. We've got the wardens, so these are members of staff who work in other departments. They could work within marketing, they could work in maintenance, but then they work in the evenings as wardens, and they're pastoral wardens. They provide important support to students, managing their physical and mental well-being. So as an individual, if you feel like you need some support in the evening, you can call a warden. Equally, if you're a friend of someone and you think they might need a little bit of support, you can give them a call and have that conversation as well. And as I've mentioned before, 24/7 site steward cover. So they're there, lockouts, advice, guidance, anything. They'll be making uniformed patrols. They also review the CCTV on site as well. So they will always be around. Most students will be moving away from home into a new environment, and it can cause some friction early on. People have to get used to communal living really, really quickly. So for some students that might be really easy, for others that might take a little bit more time. Getting used to cleaning, how often somebody likes to clean their kitchen stuff. Someone might do it really, really quickly, straight away after they've eaten their food. Some others might take a little bit longer, and others might need even more of a nudge. But we really encourage calm, positive, respectful conversations between students. You may have a housemate who works in town late at night and comes back, and perhaps they're a bit heavy with the doors or heavy with the drawers when they get into their room, but have those conversations, actually that's fine, I respect you have a job, but that wakes me up in the night. We find that things like WhatsApp are really useful for those practical conversations, preparing things, finding out information, but aren't always great tools for mediating conversations. So face-to-face is always, always better. There are also some other practical tips. If you are slightly more sensitive to noise, perhaps consider noise cancelling headphones or earplugs and things like that. I will say that the vast majority of students settle in really quickly and have a really positive experience, but we completely understand that for some that can take a little bit longer. There are loads of support teams available. So we've got obviously our housing team with the wardens and RAs and security if there is a noise issue. There's student support and success, there's the student union, there's lots of people who can signpost you in the right directions and have a chat about those. So we want to make sure everyone knows, even if the first couple of weeks are a bit tricky, things can settle down and things can get better. And if it is still a little bit of a struggle, remember we've got that room transfer process as well. So students do have the option to move to different areas of the accommodation. And usually that really helps to settle things as well, especially if you know some people in different areas from your course. So please don't worry. So we've got a reminder of the accommodation timeline as well. So at the moment, we're looking at allocations. We'll start to send out pre-offer information as well. Then from July to September, that's when you'll start to get your room offers by email. August, you'll get your induction and arrivals information. And then over September, we'll be moving students in. So from Friday, the 4th of September through to the Sunday, the 20th of September. Don't worry, a lot of information and you'll get all of this again. So we've got our contact details, which most of you should have if you have made an application, but if not, we have our email address, housing@winchester.ac.uk. We're also on Instagram as well, so we share lots of things about the accommodation, any events that we have coming up. So we run things like Halloween decorating competitions and things like that, and get in touch with us basically. But yeah, we can't wait to see you in September.